Good morning, my name is Jacob Folger. I'm an artist sculptor, and today we're going to make a seashell fairy house with this striped fox conch shell where I got it on eBay, and I'm going to put a source for it in the tool and supply list in the video description down below the video. And it's a really pretty shell, and I just thought, well, I'll do this tutorial. So the first thing we want to do is seal the shell. I have some acrylic off to the side here, and I'm just going to paint the shell with the acrylic. And that will seal it so the clay can adhere better to it. And we'll be working with polymer clay. The brand is Sculpey 3, and it's going to be working in black because I like the way it looks with my finishes that I do. So just one coat of that on there, a thorough coat is good. And then clean your brush in water. Now in the tool and supply list I'll also put the name of that product and suggestions for products like it that will work also, in case you can't get it for some reason. Okay, so we're going to get started here. I've already conditioned my clay for the most part, and I'm going to do the door first, right in here. So the first thing to do is just make sure that it's good and conditioned, and that's by kneading it. It mixes up all the ingredients on the inside of the clay. And then we'll just shove that in there to make the beginning of the door. Push it in. That's pretty good there. Now I want this to be kind of like a wood door, and I want it to be kind of like rough wood planking for the door, so it looks kind of old and like it's been there for a while. So I'm going to take a tool like this here. This is a wood sculpting tool. And I'm going to just put lines in. I'm kind of following the contour of the shell itself. See, this comes out like that, and I just put the line in there, kind of like following that. So it's kind of stylized. Kind of like that. Now I think I'm going to make a little ring to go on the door. So I'm going to take a small paintbrush like this. This is a paintbrush. And I'm going to roll it into a noodle. And then put it around the paintbrush and use the paintbrush as a form to hold it to the shape I want. So it's like that. I'll cut the end off. And then I'll slide it to the end. So it's still on there, but it's just on the edge. Then I'll hold it where I want it on the door and just set it into place. And it's going to be like a little door knocker. And then I'll take another piece of clay, a little tiny piece of clay, and roll it into a little noodle. Let's see, I'm going to cut that a little bit. And set it right inside the ring and bend it back so it's kind of holding the ring, so it's like a little bracket. I'm going to just position it a little bit differently in there. So it's looks like it's holding it. There we go. So it's a little door with a door knocker. Okay, now I want a bigger piece of clay. This is going to be for the base to hold the shell upright. Just make sure it's kneaded and conditioned. Just whenever you pick up a fresh piece of clay that you haven't been working, you should knead it a little bit. We're working on a piece of paper here so that the clay doesn't stick to the table. And I'm shaping it into a ball by squeezing it like this, and then I'll roll it. Roll it into a ball. And this takes out most of the imperfections in the surface of the clay. Just applying gentle pressure. And you can go back and blend out the ones that are tenacious. And then we want to put that on the table and press down to flatten the bottom of it. So it's flattening the bottom like that. Okay, now that we have the base down, we're going to take the shell, and this portion here will go down inside the clay. So I'm just going to put it down right in the center and press it down into the mound or base. I'm just thinking. I think I'm going to put stairs on it, but I'm also thinking of adding something else. Maybe a tree would be nice alongside of it. So let's get the stairs on first. Again, kneading the clay as you pick up a new piece to work with. Let's see this, how it looks now. And slide this back out of the way for a minute and roll a ball like that. Flatten it out a little bit. Before I put it into place, I'm going to score where it's going to go so that it will adhere better to the other piece, to the stair that I'm putting in. Score both pieces to be joined. and then make another stair. Flatten it out a little bit, shape it into a round. Position where it's going to go. And then you've got an indentation where it was just sitting, so score it there and score it here. And we'll bring that stairway around like in a little spiral, kind of coming down off of that. And actually, if you think about it, the shell is coming around like this. It's spiraling around like this, and the stairway will just continue that spiral. So roll it into a ball and go ahead and form it with your fingers and make another stair. Like right about there it's going to go. So I'll press it into place to get my marking for where the scoring is going to happen. And then here. And then press it into place. And I think we can probably get at least one more stair on there. A bit more clay. Rolling it into a ball and then, just takes the imperfections out of the surface of the clay. That's really the purpose of it. So we want to press it into place to get our markings for the scoring. Like that. Now you can pick it up and support the shell on your fingers like that, so it doesn't rock out of that spot. And go ahead and blend in at the bottom the clay to the base, and that will strengthen the stairs. You can use a tool for that if it's easier. And that will keep the staircase fairly sturdy. So that's what it looks like so far. I'm thinking a tree. I'm just trying to decide where I want it to go. Get some more clay. So I've got a piece of clay here. I'm just shaping it into like the trunk of a tree. And then I'm going to roll it to kind of take out those imperfections I'm always talking about. But I do want some texture in it. I want it to be a little bit rough. I think I'm going to put it on this side. And I'm just going to press it in. Then I'm going to blend it in at the bottom to make it stronger. A little bit on the base here. I want to add some roots, so I'm going to get some more clay here and condition it. Okay, so I've got the trunk of the tree on there, and now I want to make some roots to come off the base of the tree. So just rolling kind of cone-shaped pieces and put them in against the base. Carve it in against the base a little bit. Pick it up supporting the shell and carve it into the base of the tree and the base of the fairy house, just to make it sturdy. Get another piece. Roll it into a ball and then into a cone shape. Blend it in. I don't think I want it that long. I'm going to kind of shorten it a little bit. And then make another one. Shorten it a little bit. I'm going to take pair of scissors and snip the top of the tree to create branches. Like that. And then fold those out. Kind of spread them out. I'm going to make a moss top to go on top, so I need them to kind of be holding the moss a little bit. Just want to shorten these a little bit. Sorry, I didn't know you could see that. Sometimes it's hard to keep an eye on the viewfinder at the same time as I'm doing everything else. Just sculpting away here. Now I think I'm going to put a little bit of a knot hole in the tree here, just to add a little bit of life to it. Just make it more realistic to me. Just using the back end of this tool here. You can get these tools online. They're just wood sculpting tools. They come in plastic as well. Now I think I'm going to put some texture in the tree. Where I'm kind of curving down. Now I just want to say that this is not the kind of thing that you want to do with a seashell with air dry or self-hardening clay, because that kind of clay shrinks when it dries and it would just crack all around the seashell. So just keep that in mind. You want to kind of pay attention to this when you're putting these lines in, to do it artistically as opposed to just scratching them in. Paying attention to how they look. We're using about a pound of clay for this project. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. About got it. And then at the top, at the top of the tree, I'm going to insert some wire into the top of the tree. I've got a little bit of 18 gauge copper wire here. You want to hold on to both ends when you cut it so it doesn't go flying and landing on your floor, because it will poke your feet pretty well if you're not careful about that. There we go. And I'm just going to put a little bit of wire in the top. 3 pieces, I think will do it. And then the moss can grab onto that when it's sitting on top. There we go. And I think I'm gonna just texture the stairs a little bit. Texture is always nice on when you put the finishes on, the bronze finishes that I do. It's just so pretty with the texture in it. The Reflex Pigments, I should say, not bronze, but Reflex Pigments is the type of finish that I do. So just taking this tool and kind of dabbing at it a little bit. There we go. Seems like it would be nice to add some mushrooms. So I'm going to make a few mushrooms. I'm going to show you how to make one. How I make them anyways. Roll it into a ball. Roll a little ball, piece of clay into a ball. Like that. And then kind of pinch it on the side and on the top, to make it like a little cone shape for the mushroom cap, like that. And if you rotate it between your fingers, it kind of makes it round, keeps it round, so it looks like that. And then you can take another piece of clay and make a stalk for it. So I'm rolling a ball first, and then I'm rolling it between my fingers to make it a stalk, which is also a cone shape kind of shape on it. Then you can take a little piece of wire and put it in the stock, and then put the mushroom cap on, and it'll hold it really sturdy, and that's what the mushroom looks like, see? And then you can put the mushrooms around the door and wherever you like. Let's kind of press them into place. And I'll make a few more and we'll be back. We're putting the mushrooms on. Just made a few. I think I'm going to put one over here. Kind of twist it into place a little bit. Put one down here. Coming out from under the steps. Another one here. Kind of squeezing out. Another one right here. Like that. And then again, supporting the shell, you can lift it up and blend the stalks into the bottom. There we go. Now we'll make a treetop. Video description, down below the video, I'm going to put in the tool and supply list a place where you can get preserved moss, and it comes in big chunks like this, so you can use it just from the box like that. You know, just tear off what you don't want. It does have pine needles and stuff in it, but that's alright, you just pull them out. And then I just want to, before I put the finish on and bake it and all that, I just want to see how it's going to look up there. Yeah, that'll look pretty cool. So now we can go ahead and put the finish on the tree, so we have our tree top. And then you can also use Elmer's glue, just basic Elmer's glue, and glue it to the top to keep it up there once you've baked the piece and all that. So we're going to be using Reflex pigments in a bunch of different colors, I think. I am cradling the shell with my hand, with my fingers, and I have some antique bronze in this lid here because I use it a lot, and I dip my finger into it and swirl it with my thumb, which kind of subdues it a little bit, and I try to apply it with a finger for the most part, and then go back over with a brush to touch it up. But you can see it's really, really pretty. And I put the finish on before I bake it. And then for parts that I can't get to with my finger, I'll use a paintbrush. Bear with me for a second. Just wiping my hands off. And the way I do it with my paintbrush is I dip it in water first, and then I squeeze the excess water off like this. And then I dip it in the bronze. Let's say I'm using bronze. And then I dab it off on the table like that. And just to get the excess off. And then I can get into the areas that I couldn't get with my finger. I couldn't reach with my finger. It just looks better with it done with your finger. If you can do it with your finger, try to do it with your finger. Get a little bit more water on the brush, squeeze it off, dip it in the bronze, dab it on the table or a cloth or something like that. And then I think I've got the bronze on there. I think what I'm going to do is do the door in green. So I do want to, pardon me, I do want to put, clean my brush off really good. I've got a rag in my lap and I'm cleaning it off. And then dip it back in water again. Squeeze off the excess. Get a little dab of green on the brush. This is actually spring green. And that will be in the video description, the colors we're using and all that. If you're using a lot of one color, you probably should put it in like a lid to just to prevent a big mess. And then clean your brush again really good. We've got I've got silver here I'm going to put on the steps and on the ring, the door ring. I'm just going to put a little bit in the lid here. This is silver. Dab it on the table and just go over it lightly. I'm sorry, it's kind of hard to remember to watch the camera, what I'm doing with the camera. There we go. And then I think I'm going to put purple on the mushrooms. Get a little bit on the brush and put it in the lid. And then I'm going to get a little bit of water on the brush. Squeeze off the excess. This is actually Reflex Violet is the color. And that's going to be in the video description, the tool and supply list. I like these three mushrooms here. That's cute. How they all come along almost like little stairway lights. There we go. I'll just, for visual, I'll put the treetop on. So there we are. Now for baking, if you go to the video description down below the video, you'll find baking instructions, and just follow those to bake your Seashell fairy house. And here it is. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I do many videos along these lines. Please give the video a thumbs up, let me know what you thought about it, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun in your life, be creative, and have a fantastic day.